أيوة. أجيبي وكلها أنا في. I'm making a video. I'll call you back later إن شاء الله. خذها. أغلقها. Okay. Like I was saying, when you're dealing with the Mauritanians or you're dealing with Talib al-Ilm in Mauritania, the same type of the same type of mundane, moment-to-moment things that happen in people's lives or in the teacher's life, you're going to go through those same things with them. You could be in the middle of a lesson and a whole bunch of visitors come, and then you turn into a servant, serving them water or cutting up a watermelon or giving them dates or whatever it is to facilitate the visit of the people. He may get a phone call. Well, not in Mauritania. When I was there, they didn't have the cell phones, so the sheikh never had a cell phone. But now they have cell phones in Mauritania, so you probably have to deal with somebody getting on the cell phone and everything like that. I don't know what else to answer about. Nah. Naam. In Mauritania, Jazakallah khair, if you're reading Quran anywhere in Mauritania, on the bus, or which is just a van, or in the car, or in the store, if you make a mistake, everybody will stop and stare at you and say, no, you made a mistake, and they will start correcting you and everything like that. Be prepared for this type of thing. This is a good thing, actually. Be prepared for it. And sometimes, if you're reciting in Hafs and Asim, they won't understand it. They'll say, no, this is a mistake. You messed up the Quran, because most of the people only know Warsh. So even if you show them, say, no, it's from the Quran, they'll take a pencil and they'll correct it. Say, no, maybe somebody make a printing mistake, and they'll correct the Quran like that, because the people are very old-fashioned. They only know what they've been taught. They trust the teacher more than they trust any book. So if they didn't hear it from a teacher, they don't care what book you have it written in. They're going to go through that. And like I said, one of the other things that you need to know about Mauritania from a practical sense, it doesn't cost a whole bunch of money, but it does cost a whole bunch of heart. It does take a lot of energy from your wife, brothers who plan on going there and taking your wives and your children. You have to be very careful that you know what you're doing, and that you don't put your family into a situation that they can't necessarily handle. Okay? So this is what I want you all to know and understand about Mauritania. Not everybody can do it. The things that you do study in Mauritania are very practical, and very simple things. The sheikh, astaghfirullah al-azim, the sheikhs out there, they don't care who you know or where you came from. They want to know if you've gone through the basics. If you've gone through a basic book, they will test you. They will check that jaw. They will not allow you to say that you know something and you actually don't know it. When you finish, you will not be a sheikh, but you will be knowledgeable about the practical, the usul, the fundamental basic books. Al-Ajrumiyya, Lamiyat al-Af'al, Bayquniyya, the different fundamental books. That's what you'll know in Mauritania. And after that, I don't know what else to say. Now my daughter has more questions. تفضلي.
When people need to use the bathroom.
نعم. تريدين أن أقول هذا؟ أيوة اسكتي أنت لا تتكلمي وهي تتكلم. أيوة تفضلي. Okay. She was saying that, you know, it may be some things you're not accustomed to in Mauritania that the people do. That's normal. Bathrooms is a Western thing. So when people have to use the bathroom, like she said, there is no such thing as street in Mauritania. When you live in the Sahara, it is exactly that, the desert. So you cut a tent, a hole in the back of your tent, and the ladies go out through the back side of the tent. If you're not in your type of village like that, some people may just stop wherever they are and use the bathroom right then and there. Okay? And you have to pretend like you don't see them. You know, that's what we used to do. We used to pretend that we didn't see them, and like Maimuna said, then they'll cover it up like cats and keep going. The best thing to do is not to cover it up. That's what we always say. Do not cover it up so that people can see it. And when they see it, it'll dry up real fast, and no one will step into it. And when it dries up, it's no longer najis. Okay, when it dry, and the sun will bake it real fast. So within a few hours, it'll be gone. You know, and then they have these beetles that come out from the ground too, that'll take the dung and do away with it. So, and you know you're not to, out there you live from the sunnah, you will not make use the bathroom in the shade, because people use the shade. And it's very important because out there's very little shade. So you see the importance, you see the importance of not using the bathroom, urinating or defecating in the shade. Because that's the only place that people have to hide when the sun gets very hot. Yani Hind, Aish, kida. So, naam. Qaylula. Naam. In Mauritania, you will take a nap every day. This is from the rules of living in the desert. Unless you'll get, cataracts and glaucoma in your eyes will burn out. You cannot keep your eyes open during the middle of the day while you're living in Mauritania. The qaylula, the midday, noon nap, or a little bit before noon, a little bit after noon, before Asr, go to sleep. Everybody goes to sleep. One time, I had there was a slave. No, that wasn't. Not. One time, I sent the children to go to get some water from a well that was close by, and it was in the high part of the day, the high part of the sun. So, somebody came to my tent and told me that the sheikh wanted me. So the sheikh made me come. I came over to his tent, and he said, "You go get the water and then come back." I went and got the water. I came back to his tent. He said, "We don't even make the slaves go and get the water during a hot part of the day." And I noticed then that my children were in his tent, the ones that I had sent to go get the water. So they were relaxing in the shade, watching me go running back and forth, getting the water. And they were laughing at me, and the sheikh was protecting them. And that's the way it is in Mauritania. And then sometimes if the sheikh hear you yelling in your tent, he'll come, he won't come here. When he sees you next time, he'll tell you don't yell at his children. Somebody from Qatar came to visit me while we were in Mauritania, and he tried to take pictures. And it made a big problem, because he said you cannot take pictures here in this village. And he said, well, I was only taking pictures of Abu Tawba's children. He says, Abu Tawba don't have no children here. These are all my children. If Abu Tawba had any children that he wanted to make pictures from, he would have taken them to some other village. Because in my village, none of the children take pictures. So you have to respect the people's, their honor. Another thing we did when we were in Mauritania, we didn't go to the city without the sheikh's permission. This may be, some people may not accustomed to this. Maria, Oskuti. Some of the people say, well, I'm a grown man. I ain't nobody telling me what to do. Don't go to Mauritania if you're not ready for this type of discipline. Because you can go and don't ask the sheikh, but it's disrespect. He may never say anything to you about it. But it shows your own character. It shows where you at or where you're not. Okay? Another thing people do, so we used to ask permission. We used to ask permission for the sheikh to go into the city, and sometimes he would question us and say, well, what are you going to the city for? No, I don't think that's a good idea. And that's his way of saying don't go. Not right now. You don't know why he's saying that. But this is what the sheikh used to do at different times. One of the things my wife is telling me to remind people, when we were there wasn't one night that the people didn't feed us. We lived in Mauritania, and I kept going back and forth to Mauritania for 6 years. Now, there was not one night, I said, that the people did not feed us lunch and dinner. That's how honorable they are, and that's how they treat their guests. No, they didn't give us breakfast. And no, sometimes the food wasn't enough for my size family. Sometimes other people there didn't like the type of food, but it was their food. The food they fed their mothers, the same food they fed their children is the same food they fed us. They would send us a cup or half a cup of milk that they used before we had our own animals to milk. They would send us half a cup and wait for the cup. And that was kind of strange. We thought they wanted to see us drink it, but they needed their cup back because they only had one cup. So you have to understand that you're dealing with a different type of people. And I haven't been to Mauritania in the last 2 years, but it might have changed, but I don't think so. Certain things don't change that quickly with the people. Even though now they have the internet, even though now they have cell phones, they're still probably the best read people on the planet. Okay? Now,
I just want to remind.
Fadl.